بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين وهو خير ناصر ومعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to the question time. Like I said, brothers and sisters, that the friend of yours or the best friend of yours is yourself to yourself, is to you to yourself. The enemy of yours is to you to yourself. So I'm the best friend of me, I'm the best enemy, or I'm the worst enemy I'm the worst enemy of myself. Now, I'm not trying to promote ego or individualism here. When I'm saying that I am the closest friend to myself, that doesn't mean that I should be greedy. If I'm greedy, then that means I'm the enemy. In that sense I'm talking about. If I want everything for myself because I am for myself, that is becoming enemy of yourself. We are talking about implementation of the teachings of the Quran and of Islam on myself, using those spiritual prescription to make my soul better, not worse. The doctor prescribes me a medicine for my physical cure. I'm taking that medicine to cure myself. Right? So the same way. So now going back onto the discussion, not taking much of your time. Depending on the spiritual doctor, how much of an expert he is and how much of the spirit he is blowing into it, then the amount of prognosis, the amount of a person becoming better is of a greater chance than someone who is trying to open up or go on a Google and search and get some medicine, or going to the local GP, for example, right? Therefore, when we look at the champions of spiritual doctors are our Masumeen alayhimus salam, that not only that they prescribe, but that they make sure that if you say labbaik, they take care of you. The example we gave was Hazrat Hur. The example that we gave was Abu Hamda Thumali, right? The examples that we have given, not only in regards to the Imams, but the spiritual doctors, was Shaykh Abul Qasim Qummi, the Ustad Imam Khomeini, who was the contemporary to Shaykh Abdul Karim Hairi. We mentioned the stories about them already, right? Who was Shaykh Abdul Karim Hairi, what happened with him, why he was a marja. Shaykh Abul Qasim Qummi, for example, he was a contemporary, why he the namaz and all that, we talked about it. These are the spiritual doctors. What did Shaykh Abul Qasim Qummi recited in the year of Imam Khomeini, after which he never complained of forgetting the lesson. Before, he was complaining that I used to sit in the lesson and I used to forget. But Shaykh Abul Qasim Qummi recited, Sanuqiruka fala tansa. I recite and you do not forget. In Surah Ala there is a verse. He recited that. After that, spiritual doctor, spiritual prescription. After that, Imam Khomeini said, I never had issues. Everything was going in my mind, in that memory, right? Never have problems of forgetting. So the same way, the champions, and like I said, brothers, there isn't any, and sisters, there isn't any more of value and our purpose other than purification of our soul, of our nafs. So we said something went wrong. All of these things is seen in us and in our centers. This trustee is against that trustee. This president is against that president. Politics. Baba, we are all lovers of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. You might advise, you might do good, but not on what basis? On whose neck? Under whose name? Under what name? Under the name of whatever? You want to play politics and come in power? I want to serve Ahlul Bayt. I want to be the president. I want to be the Imam of the masjid, Maulana of the masjid, resident alim of the masjid, whatever. I want to lead. But with what methodology you want to achieve that? You present your case. You present your project, your program, what you want to do with the community. You pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that this is my plan, this is what I want to do. If I am successful, oh help me Lord to do so. If I am not, if somebody else wants to be or lead or do, well and good, not a problem. I'm not going to bring him down. I'm not going to bring his personality down. We are talking about Hussainiyas here. We are not talking about a presidential race of Hillary and Trump, where Hillary comes and says, shame on Trump, where Trump comes and says, shame on Hillary. What's going on? If we are not under the daire akhlaqi, what type of leadership that will play? That you bring down the personalities, you talk about negativities, you talk about bad sort of, conducts of whether that be previous or akhlaqi and ethical and whatnot. Anyway, so where we went wrong and what we can do. And we start here. We start here. Where to look for? What is the prescription? And what is this? Meaning that our nafs. Like I said, there are 15 munajat of Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam, known as munajat khamsatu ashar. 15 munajat. Munajat, like we said, are najwa. Najwa means whispering. So when we are talking about whispering, najwa, silently speaking, right, to whisper. Here that means that this halat itself is a kayfiyat nafsani, is the kayfiyat of a nafs. Dua, it's a bit loud. Nudba also, it's a bit loud. That is also a halat nafsani. Don't take me, wrong. Dua is also showing the halat nafsani to the Lord. But when it comes to najwa, it is much more subtle. Latif, refined, more subtle, talking about the complexities, the tabiyat insani, because it's najwa, it's whispering. Right? So the best place to look for understanding the nafs of a person is in these munajat. Just like, for example, when you want to understand the poet, you look at the poetry. When you look at the poetry, you understand the halat-e-nafs of that poet. So now you have the munajat of muhibbin, munajat of tawwabin, munajat of arifin, munajat of shakin, munajat of shakirin. So who is a person who is arif? What is his nafs like? Read munajat arifin. Understand the nafs arif. So when you understand the nafs arif, then try to make your nafs like the nafs arif. Munajat tawwabin. How should a person seek tawbah and what his nafs should be like? Kayfiyat nafs Kasi ke, a person who wants to do tawbah. Munajat tawabi. Now, one of the first munajat that one should really look at is the munajat shakin, munajat of the complainers. A person who is complaining to God. What sort of complaint? What sort of complaint? Right? It begins with Ilahi ilayka ashku nafsan bisu ammaratan. O Allah, Ilahi, ilayka, to you, ashku, I do shikayat, ashku. Of what? Of nafsan, of my nafs. What is it doing? Bisu ammaratan. It is commanding me to do evil. My nafs is commanding me to do evil. Oh Allah, what can I do, please? Why? Because inna nafsa ammaratan bisu. The Quran says, Surah Yusuf, that inna means certainly. Certainly, nafse insan, yani the soul of the man, it commands evil. Certainly. So that means this inna that has come here is saying that your nafs commands evil, period. That's it. Forget it. Right? That's what the nafs does. Who made the nafs? Oh Allah, you made the nafs. And my nafs is commanding me to do evil. It's natural. That's what it does. Evil. Right? Tell me, who doesn't want money? Yes, nafs commands to make it, regardless of what. If someone is watching, someone is not watching, right? No. Easy money, free money, yes. The way one possible, cheat, whatever, yes. Walking on the street, looking at na-mahram, the nafs says, look, because the eye wants to see good things. The eye wants to see the beauty. Look, that's the nafs is saying. It's commanding me to do evil. You know, looking at na-mahram is evil. Greed is evil. Good, tasty food, right? Halal or haram, regardless, tasty food. The nafs wants to enjoy. Nafs wants to enjoy, that's it. Entertainment doesn't want anything. That's how the nafs is. There is no, if you, for example, let me give you an example of a child. If you give him a gadget to play on the game, he will play from morning till night. That's what nafs wants. So enjoy all the time. That's what the nafs wants. Doesn't want to stop. There is no limit to it. Regardless of age, regardless of what. It just wants to have fun. That's how the nafs is. Inna nafsa ammarata bisu. Right? Here Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, ilahi ilayka ashku nafsan bisu ammaratan wa ila khatiyate mubadiratan. Ma'bud, O Allah, bisu eto shikayat mikunam, I am complaining to you. از دست نفسی که بسیار به بدی امر می کند, from the nafs that is commanding me to do loads of evil, و به گناه پیشی می گیرد, and it's kind of rush to do the guna. This type of nafs, what shall I do? I'm doing shikayat to Allah. Who can I complain? Who can I complain? I'm complaining to you, Allah. You are the best one to complain. I'm complaining to you. Right? Where this methodology come from? In Surah Yusuf, verse number 86, it says, Yaqub, إنما أشكو بثي وحزني إلى الله وأعلم من الله ما لا تعلمون. إنما, certainly, Ashku, I complain, Bathi wa huzni, of my sorrow, of my sadness, ilallah, to Allah. Wa alamu min Allah, and Allah knows, ma la ta'lamoon, which we do not know. God is aware of it. If I am sad, if I am suffering, so of my sorrow and of my suffering, I complain to God. Because God knows. Nafs makes us sad. When we commit a sin, there is passion. Nafs wants to do that. We commit a sin. We commit a sin because there is so much passion, lazat, in doing so. If there is no lazat, why will a person commit a sin? Chun gunah lazat hai. Gunah mein lazat hai. Gunah lazat dare dige. Because gunah have lazat, have pleasure, have passion. That's why a person commits. Otherwise, he's stupid if he's just want to commit a sin for the sake of committing sin. No, there is lazat there. That lazat, as our Bahjat used to say, that you take one step towards guna, you don't know where will be your second step. Ye qadami ke be taraf guna var midari, shoma nemidunid khadam dovvam shoma kuja khatm mishe. One step that you take towards that sin, you don't know where the second step will end. So therefore, there is some sort of sweetness, walau betor zahir, towards committing a sin. Sometimes committing a sin becomes a habit of a person. Lying, cheating, backbiting, making fun of others, enjoys it from inside. Impulsively, sometimes one does that, cutting, cracking jokes unnecessarily. Without knowing he does that, because it becomes his second personality. Now he has to control that. That becomes very difficult because there's lazat there in it, right? Ilahi, help us. Ilahi, ilayka ashku nafsan. Really, we complain to God. We complain to God because this lazat, this taste and pleasure is just a bit. And then after that is lot of huzn and sorrow. A person becomes sad. He's in remorse. Oh, why did I do that? I shouldn't have done that. He goes towards, becomes sad. Now, who to complain? It's Allah. So first of all, in the first place, the methodology of complaining to God, ila innama ashku bathi wa huzni, is the methodology of Anbiya. So here Imam Sajjad alayhi salam is complaining of the nafs to Allah. This is how the Anbiya were. Right? This is tawassul itself, brothers and sisters. When the Shias are condemned that they talk about intercession, this is intercession itself. This is tawassul itself. That we are using through the wasila, through the intercession, through the means of the dua of Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, we are connecting to God. We are directly connecting to God. We are saying, Ilahi ashku. Imam Sajjad taught us that. That is wasila. Now, inna nafsa ammarata bisu. My nafs commands me to do evil, but he said, illa ma rahima rabbi. Except that soul upon which God have mercy. Right? Now, let me take a pause here to explain a bit more. in regards to nafs, as our topic is understanding nafs. Nafs insan is made up of 4 elements: fire, earth, air, and water. These are the 4 elements in the nafs insan. This is also Greek philosophy as well. If you look at the works of Greek philosophers, they have talked about this as well, right? Man is made of 4 elements, and that is true. Now, as insan is made of these 4 elements need to be well balanced for him to have that control nafs, for him to be far away from nafsani illnesses. If any of these elements in him become imbalanced, then that nafs is in a state of imbalance. Then that nafs is inclined towards committing sins. What did Shaitan say? Surah Sa'd. Ana khayrun minhu khalaqtani min nar wa khalaqtahu min teen. The Shaitan said, Ana khayrun, I am khair. Why? Because you created him, you created me with fire, and you created him with teen. What did the angel say? Angel said, Ma la ta'lamoon, you are more aware, O Lord. He might do fitna, fasad, whatever, but you know. You ask us to do sajda, we will do sajda. But what did Shaitan said? Shaitan said, Ana khair. Because khalaqtani min nar. Fire is of a greater element than teen, than earth. Because earth is stagnated. It's one place. It doesn't go anywhere. But fire goes up. Fire is latif. Fire is heat. Fire burns. Earth is just stagnated one place, doesn't do anything. But fire goes high towards the heaven. Fire provides that heat. Fire is light. You are guided with fire. With that torch in the darkness, it helps you and it guides you. So that's what it says, that Ana khair, I am better. Because he is with earth and I am with fire. Now this is jealousy, doing sajda, fire element. This is arrogance, element of fire, I am better. So the nafs insan ke, which is of 4 elements, fire, earth, air and water, if the fire element in him becomes more, he becomes arrogant. He becomes self-righteous. He becomes jealous of others, because that is fire and it burns. And when it burns, it evaporates the water. When it burns, it uses the air to really spread the fire. Right? That's what it does. Now, what is the air element? I'll just mention this and I'll leave it for the next week. The air element is ruh. وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهَ مِنْ رُوحِي. God says, I blow into Adam my spirit. Ruh. Ruh is the element where you could trace aql, intellect. Now this intellect, this element of air in insan is his aql. The angels are pure intellect. They say, oh Allah, you know we don't. We do whatever you say. Now, if the jealousy insan hasad-e-insan, that hasad and jealousy, that fire element becomes more. And if the aql is helping the fire element, it creates a havoc. It burns the whole world with his aql as an air, with his fire from the other side, that is jealousy. He or she uses the aql and intellect to really spread fire. And we have seen that in history. Imbalance. The water element should be there as well to put this fire off, to control it. So inshallah we'll continue on these 4 elements and ma'rifat of nafs, understanding nafs on the basis of the Munajat-e-Shakeen of Imam Sajjad alayhi salam. We are using the text of Ayatollah Tahriri. However, these things which I have mentioned, element of fire and nafs and all that, that is not there. I will be going through this text and obviously beefing it up with other sort of stories and riwayat and ayat of the Quran and some of the philosophical arguments that we have. Thank you for joining us. We will continue next week again on Saturday, and goodbye. Thank you. Khuda Hafiz.